Sarupam Rupam Tasya Najaruparim Matrim Gostavatim Radha Kundamagirivaramaho Radhika Madhavasam Prabdo Yasya Patitaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Andeham Shri Guru Varam Shri Rupanu Pravaram Rajarasrasikam Charanayam Tam Prapanna Shri Guru Charanam Mande Ramana Prishthaya Bhutale Rupanu Bhaktinam Chadvipanu Dinayana Astram Nante Ram Yache Puna Shri Madhurupa Param Pujatu Ishama Janma Janma Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktavinda Jai Rup Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhakta Dasa Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my Shastagada Nams. The lowest way of our spiritual masters. Nitla Vishtam Vishnapada Stota Shiva Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Sridhare. Nitla Vishtam Vishnapada Stota Shiva Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Sridhare. To entire Rupanagari Guru and to our Rajin, to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis present today. So on the order of Lordji, speak a few words on the glories of Srila Prabhupada. Because we've been observing Srila Prabhupada's Avirbhav Tithi since a few days now, and the Avirbhav Tithi of his beloved disciples. Also, today is the disappearance day of one of his grand disciples. So we went to the temple today. His name is Pujyavad Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj. He was he was the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. This Maharaj, he was a Shakta before. But then by the mercy of his Guru Maharaj, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he became a great Vaishnava. He took sannyas from his Guru Maharaj. He helped preach so much in Delhi, in Karol Bagh, because Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, he had a temple. He has a temple. You can't say he had a temple. He still has a temple there in Karol Bagh, Malikaganj. So he built that temple in 1962 or 63. So he served there for many years. And once it is said, Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada, he was in Delhi. He wanted to collect some funds for the publication of his Bhaktivedanta magazine. Because that time, as you know, Swami Maharaj, he, externally at least, he didn't have many resources to fund the printing of his magazine. So he would go here and there collecting some pranami. So he came to Delhi once and it was very hot. It was very hot. So Swami Maharaj, he was, when he was even looking for when he was even trying to collect some donations, it is said that one bull even ran into him. The bull ran into him and he fell to the ground and he hurt himself. But still somehow he got back to his feet and he resumed. So there you see.
Sunstroke here.
Okay. Maharaj is saying another leela also that in Delhi also he had a sunstroke. So what I mean to say is that he encountered so many obstacles in his preaching. There were so many difficulties. So many difficulties he encountered in his preaching. And now we're seeing the fruit. So in this way, when he was preaching there in Delhi, he was sitting outside one person's house. Because this person, he had promised to give our Srila Prabhupada maybe 10 rupees for publication of his BDG, Bhaktivedanta. But this person, he never came out of his house. And Prabhupada, the whole day he was just sitting outside, waiting for this person. When will he open his gate? When will he come and offer me something? So then this Maharaj, whose disappearance day we are observing today, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. So he was on his cycle and he saw sannyasi sitting there and he immediately realized, oh, this is my Siksha Guru, Srila Swami Maharaj. So immediately he fell at his feet and he said, oh Maharaj, what are you doing here? He said, oh, this person, he has promised to give me some money. And he said, Maharaj, but you've been waiting here since morning. He said, what can I do? We are Tridandi Bhikshuks. At that time, Tridandi sannyasis, they'll go house to house, collecting a few rupees. Like we've been hearing, our Param Gurudev also, just sitting, going all over the railway station, Howrah railway station, collecting 1 paisa from a person, not more than 1 paisa, having a box with them. So then Maharaj, he told Swami Maharaj, Maharaj, don't worry, I will give you that money. Let's leave from here. No, that person is not bothering to even open the gate. Why should you wait for him for so long? Let's go, Maharaj. And then he took him away. So this way we see how this preaching began, grassroots preaching, how it began from the roots. And it is said that even once Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, there was a car accident in near Delhi somewhere. But nothing happened to Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj in that car accident. But one of his sevaks, he was very seriously hurt. One of his sevaks. And Vaman Maharaj, as we know, he had already lost one of his previous sevaks, Sundarananda Prabhu. Sundarananda Prabhu was a very beloved sevak of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. He was illiterate. He didn't know how to read or write also, Sundarananda Prabhu. But still, he would serve his Guru Maharaj with so much love. Vishwamba Guru Seva, so much intimacy. That Vaman Maharaj used to love this Sevak so much. So one day it is said that when Vaman Maharaj was speaking Harikatha, the electricity went off. There was no electricity. So then Sundarananda Prabhu, he tried starting the generator. At that time there was a live wire. It means there was like one wire in which electricity was still passing. So then somehow his hand touched that and he got electrocuted. And he left his body, Sundarananda Prabhu. So Vaman Maharaj was devastated, completely devastated that his sevak left his body. So now when this other car accident happened, nothing happened to him, to Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, but his other sevak, he was very seriously hurt, very seriously injured. Glass pieces all over his body and completely unconscious. The doctors even told him that I cannot even promise you if he will survive from this trauma. There is no guarantee. But then Vaman Maharaj, he said, I lost one sevak already. Now I will not lose another sevak. Even if Yam Maharaj comes with his all Yamdutas to take him away, still I will not let him take away. See how much love the Guru has for his disciple. And he fasted for so many days. Didn't drink any water, didn't eat anything, nothing. And he said Thakurani, he would always address Srimati Radhika as Thakurani. Gurudev, he would address Radharani as Swaminiji. And Vaman Maharaj, he would address her as Thakurani. Even if Thakurani somehow has to protect this Vaishnava. And his prayers so powerful, they were heard by Radha and Krishna, and he survived this sevak. And the doctor said this is a miracle that he survived. There's no possibility of him surviving, still he survived. So then, at this time, when the whole thing was happening, so this Maharaj, Bhakti Vaibhav Malak Maharaj, he was arranging all the facilities there for all the devotees in the temple, in the Delhi temple. And that same Vaishnava, who was supposed to leave his body, that sevak, to this day he's still alive and preaching so much. Janardhan Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Janardhan Maharaj. Before his name was Gopika Prabhu. Even now he is going everywhere preaching. This is Guru Kripa. So this way Maharaj, he served Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj so much. Today was like his Tiruvaptiti, and one of his disciples, he always comes to our temple. His name is Radharaman Prabhu. He comes, he serves very much here. He comes to the kirtans in the afternoon, once in a while. He comes with us on Nagar Sankirtan. So he requested Prabhuji, saying if you could send someone from the temple for his Guru Maharaj's Tiruvaptiti. He comes every year and invites everyone here. So Prabhuji, he told me, you go along with some devotees there. So then we went there today. It was very nice to observe the festival. So he's also a very near and dear associate of Srila Prabhupada himself. So now I was thinking that we should read this one prayer called Prabhupada Vandana. Srila Prabhupada Vandana is a very powerful prayer. Vaishnavas in all the temples, they sing this prayer. It is, normally everyone thinks it is Sujanar Buddha Pada, but also this prayer also they sing. It's Bengali prayer. Sujanar Buddha Pada Yugam is in Sanskrit, written by Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. But this prayer is written in Bengali. Very beautiful prayer. It is said here, this prayer was published in the Rays of the Harmonist in 2010. So this was like the last edition of the Rays of the Harmonist that was published during Gurudev's Prakat Leela. This prayer. So here, the author of this song, Sri Gopal Govinda Mahanta, he has introduced himself as Vaishnav Das, and he was a resident of Sri Hatta. So Sri Hatta is the place where Mahaprabhu's father was born, Jagannath Mishra. He was from Sri Hatta. So this Vaishnav also, Gopal Govinda Mahanta, he was from this place in Bangladesh. He had been completely unacquainted with the Gaudiya Math. Yet after hearing the glories of Prabhupada's glories, in 1925, he composed this simple and beautiful song. So you see here, this Vaishnava, he has not even seen Prabhupada. And he has written such a beautiful prayer. He has not even seen him. He doesn't even know what the Gaudiya Math is. He didn't even know there was an institution called the Gaudiya Math. He had just heard about Prabhupada's glories from some devotees who were traveling here and there. Maybe brahmacharis, maybe sannyasis, maybe vanaprasthis, grihasthis. No, just some devotees going here and there, he heard from them. And he heard from them only for like maybe a couple of days. 2-3 days, they spoke to him about Prabhupada's glories. Because an ideal disciple, he carries his Guru Maharaj in his heart. He's never alone. No, he always carries him in his heart. So here, just after hearing Prabhupada's glories for like 2-3 days, he wrote such a beautiful song. Even without having seen Prabhupada. In 1925, he wrote this song where he is given a very beautiful account of Prabhupada's preaching activities. He sent this song to Gaudiya Math at the time of the Gaudiya Math's anniversary festival. So he wrote this beautiful offering and he sent it to the Gaudiya Math in Calcutta, Ultadangi Junction. This was before Bazaar was established, Ultadangi Junction. So there he sent this prayer and it was published in the Gaudiya. Ultadangi Junction, as I have mentioned before, ISKCON has built a beautiful temple there now. With the deity of Prabhupada, deity of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Because this place is the birthplace of ISKCON and the Gaudiya Math. Because our Swami Maharaj also, he met his spiritual master in this place, Ultadangi Junction. So then, over time, it naturally gained great appreciation and acceptance from all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples and followers. Because it is full of the sweetness of Prabhupada's compassion and the perfection of his teachings. Now it is sung in almost all Gaudiya Maths on the appearance and disappearance days of Prabhupada. So you see, such a beautiful song, written by a person who has not even had the darshan of Prabhupada, and now it is sung on all the Avirbhav and Tirobhav Tithis of Prabhupada. 100 years have passed since this song was written. This song was written in 1925, and now it is 2024. Nearly 100 years, 1 century has passed, and to this day all the Gaudiya Maths are still singing this song. It has been included in the Bengali edition of the Gaudiya Giti Guch, authorized by Bhakti Pragyan Kishore Goswami Maharaj. So our Param Gurudev also happy with this kirtan, he published it in his songbook. And we are fortunate to have an audio recording of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj personally singing and relishing this song. So there's an audio recording of Sridhar Goswami Maharaj also singing it. Maybe you have it. Generally, everyone glorifies their own Gurudev, and the Vaishnavas are already well known to them. Yet in this case, a person who had never met Srila Prabhupada has glorified him with matchless beauty after simply hearing and reading his teachings. This demonstrates Srila Prabhupada's extraordinary eminence among the Vaishnavas of his time. See, he's not even an initiated disciple of Prabhupada. No, normally we glorify our Guru Maharaj, we glorify our spiritual master. But he has not even taken initiation from him. He has not even seen him. But he wrote such a beautiful prayer. So we'll begin with this. Here he's saying, Jai Jai Paramahamsa Mahashay Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Jai Parama Karunamoy Dina Hina Agatira Gati. So here the translation is, all glories to Bhagavan's topmost swan-like devotee, that most magnanimous personality, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada. So what does it mean here when he's addressing him as a swan-like devotee? It means he's a Paramahamsa. What does a Paramahamsa do? What does a swan do? It separates the milk from the water. If there's milk mixed with water, the swan separates it. Similarly, Prabhupada, what did he do? This material world is full of so many faults, so many shortcomings, so many things which are very unfavorable for the practice of Krishna Bhakti. But still Prabhupada, even in such a place, such a horrible place, what did he do? He separated all the bad things of Kali Yuga and then he preached Harinam Sankirtan. He preached Kirtan everywhere. Because it is important to know that Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he gave 3 instructions to Prabhupada. He said, don't reside in the city of Kali. Means don't reside in Calcutta. Don't make any disciples, he said. And don't reside in the city of Kali. And he spoke one more, you remember? One more instruction. Anyhow, so the first instruction he said, don't reside in the city of Kali. Prabhupada. No. So he said, don't reside in the city of Kali means don't stay in Calcutta. But Prabhupada, what did he do? The first place he started preaching was from Calcutta. He said, I'm not residing in the city of Kali. Actually, I'm staying in Vaikuntha. Because wherever Harikatha is going on, wherever Kirtan is going on, that place is non-different from Vaikuntha. Non-different from the spiritual world. So how am I in the city of Calcutta? No. So is this Guru Avagya? No. He is obeying his Guru Maharaj to the fullest extent. And then he said, don't make any disciples. Prabhupada said, I never made any disciples my entire life. I only made gurus. Prabhupada would never address his disciple as a shishya. In fact, if any disciple would come to offer him pranams, even before that disciple would offer pranams to him, Prabhupada would offer pranams already. Like any disciple would come, Prabhupada immediately he would offer pranams and say, Dasosmi, I am your servant. He would say, you are my Vipat Uddharan Bandhav. Means you are my dear friend who is protecting me from all calamities in my life. Why? Because you are giving me a chance to speak Harikatha, to engage in Harikirtan. If you weren't there, then who would I speak Harikatha to? Therefore, I am so grateful to you. This is how we would express his gratitude to all his disciples. So he said, I've never made any disciples. He said. That's why Param Gurudev, whenever he would offer pranams to Prabhupada, he would do so from a distance. He would never come directly in front of him and offer pranams. He would do from far. Because he knew if he would offer pranams there, Prabhupada would also offer pranams back to him in return. This is unbearable for him. So therefore, he is this swan-like devotee, this Paramahamsa, that most magnanimous personality, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all glories to him, who is the master of his senses. Goswami Thakur Jai. Normally, this title during Prabhupada's time, Goswami was given to one who was born in a Goswami family. And Prabhupada, he opposed it. He opposed this. He said, if one is born in a Goswami family, but he is not really a controller of his senses, then how can he be a Goswami? So this was like a revolutionary thought at that time. Because at that time there was Nityananda Vansh. There was the family of the dynasty of Nityananda Prabhu, the dynasty of Advaita Acharya, the dynasty of Jamnava Devi. So anyone who was born in these respective dynasties, they all inherited this title Goswami. So Prabhupada said, how can this be? No. Goswami means what? Rupa Goswami has said in his Upadeshamrita. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udhara Upasta Vegam, Etan Vegan Yogishaya Tadira, Sarvam Titimam Api Shishya. One who has controlled his vacha, the urge to speak, the urge of the mind, the urge of the stomach, the urge of the genitals. All these different things, he is a Goswami. How can he just inherit this title? So when he spoke such a thing, then we know so many people opposed him. But he was really a Goswami from his very birth. When he was only 9 or 10 years old, he started one brahmachari club. He started one brahmachari club and he said, only those who promise to be brahmacharis for the rest of their lives can join this club, he said. So then a few people joined, saying, all right, we'll be brahmacharis for the rest of our lives. But then ultimately what happened? Only one person remained in that club. Everyone else left. And that person, he remained a Naishtik brahmachari his entire life. Who was that person? Who was that one person who was left in that brahmachari club? Who was a Naishtik brahmachari his entire life? It was Prabhupada. No, he was the only one left in that club. All the others left. Because he showed. In Kali Yuga, really, if one has to somehow control that instinct to indulge in the sense, in the objects of the senses. No. So he showed by his own example. He is filled with the greatest compassion, and he is the refuge of the most unfortunate, destitute souls who have no other refuge. That is why he established the Gaudiya Math everywhere. What is the meaning of Gaudiya? Gaudiya means the follower of Gauri Devi. Who is Gauri Devi? It is Srimati Radhika. So the Gaudiya Math is actually a kunja of Srimati Radhika. Now, in the Gaudiya Math, all the 64 limbs of bhakti are followed. And Prabhupada during his time when he established, he said, everyone here, they are being given training in the kunja of Srimati Radhika. And as and when they are trained in this kunja, then what happens? The training that they receive now will ultimately give them perfection, and those same services they are rendering here in the Gaudiya Math, when they go to the spiritual world, they will also render the same services to Radha and Krishna. So he has opened this embassy of the spiritual world in this place, in all the different cities. He is giving everyone this chance to be a part of the spiritual world. So what can be a greater aspect of compassion than this? Opening these embassies of the spiritual world. And he is the only refuge of the destitute, unfortunate souls who have no other refuge. In Kali Yuga, where can we go for shelter? Who will give us shelter? Even now in certain sampradayas, if you are not a born Brahmin, you cannot receive initiation. Even though you must be a Brahmin, born in a Brahmin family, you must have all these good qualities. You must not have a trace of any bad qualities, only then you are given initiation. But what did Prabhupada do? He said, regardless of whatever has happened in your life previously, now let that go. From today you promise that you will not do such things, I'll give you initiation. Has this ever been heard of in the history of mankind, especially in this Vedic culture? No. Like for instance, one person, he wanted initiation from Prabhupada, and the other disciples of Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, don't give him initiation. Just yesterday we saw him smoking bidis. No. Bidi is like the younger brother of a cigarette. Bidi. A younger brother is of a cigarette. But he's more dangerous for bidi. At least cigarette is not as dangerous as a bidi. But this fellow is more dangerous. So I just saw him smoking bidis yesterday. Prabhupada, don't give him. Then Prabhupada, he looked at this person, looked him directly into the eyes. And then he said, do you promise to not smoke bidis ever for the rest of your life? He looked at Prabhupada, folded his hands and he said, yes, never. Whatever bidis he had in his pocket, he took it, threw it away. Prabhupada said, I'm giving initiation now. He gave him initiation that same day. The person became a great devotee. There was another person who was even more worse. He wanted initiation. And then the disciples of Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, this person he confided to me, means he told me that he eats pig meat. He eats pork. Means he catches pigs, he kills them and he eats their meat. So will you give initiation to such a person who's eating pork? Even the Muslims are very disgusted by the sight of a pig. But he's eating that same pig meat. So then Prabhupada again, he looked at him and he said, look what they are saying. Are you listening? What they are saying? They're saying you're eating pig meat. I should not give you initiation. So do you promise that you'll never even touch such a thing in your entire life? What to speak of touching, you'll never even think of such a thing. Such a disgusting thing ever in your entire life. He said, yes. Never touch such a thing, I promise. Prabhupada gave initiation that same day. No, this is compassion. This is refuge. This is how this revolution began in Bengal. Especially in Bengal, the hierarchy of the caste system is very strong there. India is very notoriously known for its caste system. No, the British, how did the British divide India? When the British ruled India, how did they divide India? Through this caste system. They said, look at your caste system. It is so discriminatory. It is so racist. There are only certain people born in certain families, they have all privileges. Well, other people who are born in other families have no privileges. And this is how the British broke India's back. This is how they proselytized everyone. This is how they converted everyone. Even now in India, what did they do? They divided North India and South India. They told all the South Indians, you have nothing to do with the North Indians. North Indians are the Aryans, the South Indians are the Dravidians. The Aryans came from outside, they conquered all of India, and all of you are the primitive Indians, the Aborigines. So the British did this, and to this day, this poison of thinking that we are different from people of the other land is continuing to this day. So Bengal was a boiling pot of such caste hierarchy. It was a boiling pot. But still, Prabhupada, what did he do? He took water and he threw water on that fire, and that pot, the fire was extinguished. Means he broke all rules and regulations of such caste hierarchy. He said, who is a Brahmin? One who exhibits the qualities of a Brahmin, he is one. Regardless of whichever family he is born in. No, in India, the most oppressed class are called the Dalits. No, the Dalits are like the untouchables. Even if you touch them, then you'll have to have a bath. Even now in some villages, if these Dalits, they enter the well, like in some villages you have some agricultural well. You use some well, and you have a well and you use that water to irrigate the fields. So if a Dalit enters into that well and starts having a bath, then they take that Dalit and they beat him so badly, saying you polluted the entire well. Even now it's happening in India. It happened in my village. But Dalits get beaten up so badly. They are called Harijans, means the most oppressed people. But Prabhupada, what did he do? Even such Dalits, such Harijans, he gave them such training. He spoke such nice Harikatha to them, trained them in all the Shastras, like the Upanishads, the Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he made them more qualified than even like these Smarta Brahmins. Means these caste Brahmins, who were very proud of being born in Brahmin families. And they became Paramahamsas also. Therefore it is being described that he is the ultimate refuge of those who have no refuge. Dinahina agatira gati. Even those who are agatira, who have no gati, he is their gati also. Neela chale hoya uday, Shri Gauda mandale ashi, Prema bhakti parakashi, Jivera nashilo bhava bhai. So your divine appearance took place in Neelachal Dham, Jagannath Puri. When you came to Gauda Mandal, you enlightened everyone about pure loving devotion to Krishna. In this way, you have destroyed the living entity's fear of material existence. So Prabhupada was born in Jagannath Puri. We heard that katha the other day. That when he was born, the chariot of Jagannath stopped in front of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house for 3 days. He couldn't move. Only when Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought this very effulgent baby and offered him in front of Jagannath, the garland of Jagannath, the prasadi fell on this boy, and the grains of Jagannath were given to him. The first grains that he ever honored was Jagannath Maharaj. Then the cart started moving. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sent him to Bengal to preach. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he actually had a friend who was a king of Tripura. Tripura is a state in northeast India. It was a princely state, Tripura. Tripura was never submitted to the British. It always remained independent. So there was a king there of Tripura who was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's friend. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he told his son, Vimala Prasad, that you go and teach the son of this king. You become a teacher. You teach him. And then this king, he will give you some money every month and you can maintain yourself this way. So Prabhupada said, all right. Then he went to this king of Tripura and he started teaching his son, this prince. And when he started teaching him, then this prince, he became a great sadhu. Prabhupada himself is teaching someone, is giving siksha. Will he give siksha about any material education, mundane education, like biology, physics, chemistry, mathematics? Will he speak all such things? No. He will speak Brahma Vidya. He will speak from the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he spoke so much Harikatha to this boy, that one day this boy, he went and told his father, I don't want this kingdom. I don't want to be the prince. I don't want this kingdom. I don't want anything. I'm going to Vrindavan. I'm doing bhajan. And he said, what is the use of accepting this kingdom? Then his mother was present there. And his mother told her husband, just see what this boy is saying. He's a prince, and he's saying he doesn't want the kingdom. He's become a Babaji. In India, to become a sadhu, even now, is very disgraceful. In India, even now also. In society, if you want to be a sadhu, if you go and tell someone, I want to be a sadhu, then they'll look at you as though they've seen a ghost in India. In the West, no, let's say you're in America or Canada or Europe, there if you want to become a sadhu, it's very cool. No, it means you're accepting Eastern philosophy. You're accepting New Age spirituality. But in India, if you were to do such a thing, saying I'll dress myself in pink, then you see the reaction that will come from society. Not a good reaction. A very strong reaction will come from them. Those who have left, those who have tried being sadhus in India, from Indian families, they have realized what kind of reaction comes from society. No. So this boy, when he went and he told his father, I want to be a sadhu, and his mother, she was so angry. Then she told her husband, if he becomes a sadhu, who will offer tarpan for you? When you leave your body, who will even offer oblations to you? No, there's no one even to offer oblations to you. There's no one even to look after the kingdom. He's the only son. So you do one thing, you send him away from here. And he said, how can I send him away from here? He's my dear friend's son. No, you send him away or I'm taking poison. I killed myself. Do something about it. So then he went and requested Prabhupada, saying, Vimala Prasadji, kindly forgive me, but my wife, she has some reservations about you teaching our son. So kindly, you stop teaching him. I'll give you money that you need for the rest of your life. Prabhupada said, no, I don't want any of your money. My objective is fulfilled. Because the king had a very beautiful library. Had a very vast library, having many scriptures. So Prabhupada, as long as he taught this boy for like 6 months, he had read all the books there, everything. He said, this is enough for me, and he left. And from there, Bhaktivedanta Thakur actually opened even a shop full of medicines for him. He said, you can sell medicines and somehow make a livelihood. But what did Prabhupada do? He gave all the medicines away for free. And even the shop he closed after that. So then Bhaktivedanta Thakur was thinking, what should I do with this boy? No, I'm doing so many things for him, still nothing seems to be working out. Everything is failing, he said. So then he said, all right, I have some land in Mayapur, like some acres of land. I'll open a temple there, you look after the deities. So then Prabhupada was happy. He said, all right. So there he started serving there in Jagannath. So then, Tomara Mahima Gai, Hena Satya Mor Nai, Tabe Pari Jadi Deho Shakti. Vishwahite Avirata, Achara Prachare Rata, Vishuddha Shri Rupa Nuga Bhakti. On my own, I do not have the capability to sing your unlimited glories. I can only do so if you empower me. For the welfare of the entire world, you are continuously devoted to practicing and preaching supremely pure devotional service following the current of thought of Rupa Goswami. So what does an Acharya do? He preaches by his own example, by his own bhajan, by his own ideal, adarsha, he preaches. And he sets an example. Like the other day we heard that someone asked Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj that what is the contribution of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj to our Gaudiya Sampradaya? Someone asked. Like this question doesn't seem so right. It means they're implying that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he never preached, he only did his bhajan. So what was his contribution to our Gaudiya Sampradaya? They asked Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj this question. And Sridhar Maharaj became very grave. And he said, his contribution was, he gave us Srila Prabhupada. That was his contribution. Means what? By the power of his bhajan, he gave us such an effulgent personality, such a transcendental personality as Srila Prabhupada. Because we know that Bhajananandis also, sitting in one place, by the power of their bhajan, they can empower so many souls. Like Lokanath Das Goswami, he was a Bhajananandi. Narottam Thakur, he was a Goshthanandi. He would preach everywhere. But Lokanath Das Goswami, what did he do? He empowered Narottam Thakur to preach all around the world. That is what an ideal Bhajananandi does. Through his disciples, he empowers everyone. And then once, the same Maharaj who spoke this story, he also said that once he took one devotee to meet Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj here in Vrindavan. Because Puri Maharaj, whenever he would reside in Vrindavan, he would stay in Chaitanya Gauriya Math. Because that was the temple founded by his godbrother, very intimate godbrother, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. So then, this devotee, he was asked by Puri Maharaj, if you have any questions, you can ask me. So then this devotee, he asked Bhakti Prabhupada Puri Maharaj, who was more than 100 years old, he asked him this question. He said, Maharaj, now that you have been chanting Harinam for more than 80-85 years, what have you realized? He asked him. It's a very offensive question actually, to ask him. He said, what have you realized? You're chanting Harinam for more than 80-85 years now. What have you realized, Maharaj? And Puri Maharaj, he looked at him and he said, what I realized is, without the association of the devotees, I would be finished, he said. Every moment of my life I'm realizing this, he said. That if there was no devotee association, my spiritual life would have been finished, he said. Such a powerful instruction is given. No, and Acharya himself is saying that always remain in the association of the devotees. If you are not in the association of devotees, then great harm can come to one's spiritual life. Because wherever devotees are, there will be Harikatha, there will be Harikirtan, there will be Mahaprasad. No, wherever they are, there will be proper observance of Ekadashi. That's why Puri Maharaj said, by his own example he is saying, that without the association of the devotees, I would have been finished by now. This is what I have realized by my Harinam. So this is an Acharya. By his own example, he teaches society. So Shri Pata Keturi Dham, Thakur Shri Narottam, Tomate Tahara Guna Dekhi, Shastrera Siddhanta Sar, Shuni Lage Chamatkar, Kutarkika Dite Nare Faki. So I see in you the transcendental qualities of Narottam Thakur, who appeared in Keturi Gram. Hearing from you all the conclusions of the Shastras, one becomes struck with awe. And those who try to contradict Shastra using illogical philosophical debate, they can never cheat anyone in the wake of your authority. So Vaishnav Das is saying that in you I am seeing all the qualities of Narottam Das Thakur. Because Narottam Das Thakur, he went preaching everywhere. Prabhupada also, following in his footsteps, went preaching everywhere. There's a nice story that once the Pujari of Keturi Gram, he came to see Prabhupada in Mayapur. So then when he came to see Prabhupada in Mayapur, he said, I have a question. Prabhupada said, what? He said that in our temple in Keturi, we have these very ancient deities that Narottam Thakur has established. No, because during this Keturi festival, Narottam Thakur, he established 6 pairs of deities. Radha Prajmohan, Radha Vallabhikanta, Radha Raman, and Radha Damodar, Mahaprabhu, Vishnu Priya, and Sachinandan Gaurari. So he established these 6 deities. So he said that in our temple, because the temple is so old, one of the bricks of the temple fell on Thakurji's hand. And Thakurji's hand got a little disfigured when this brick fell on Thakurji's hand. So he told Prabhupada, what should I do? The Brahmins in my village Keturi, they are saying that you must offer the deity into the river. It's called Visarjan. Means you take the deity and put it inside the Ganga. They said if you don't do this, then you will be ruined. Sarvanash. So what should I do? He asked Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada told him, you must know that these deities were established by Narottam Thakur and Srinivas Acharya under the authority of Jhannava Devi, who is Nityananda Shakti. So these deities are no ordinary deities. And then he said, if there's an old man and he breaks one of his hands, will you take that old man and throw him inside the Ganga? Saying, let him die. So, if there's a lady serving a husband, and if her husband injures himself, will the lady take that husband and throw him away inside the Ganga? No. So does that mean this Thakurji whom you're serving, whom you consider your life and soul, will you just take that Thakurji and offer him inside the Ganga? Saying no. What should you do? You use gold or silver or any other element, dhatu, and you repair that arm. Means whatever damage you have seen, you repair that damage and you continue to worship, he said. No need to listen to those Brahmins. No. Like we see here also sometimes, Giriraj, when you're doing parikrama, you see Giriraj also sometimes they add one hand to him. Like you see sometimes Giriraj is also lifting. Sometimes they make a makeshift arm for him. Like sometimes. So the same example he used, that somehow repair that arm. But there's no need to offer that deity inside the river. So this person, he had heard all these things because he's also. So he's saying that you have those same qualities of Narottam Das Thakur who appeared in that land known as Keturi. So hearing from you all the perfect conclusions of Shastra, one becomes struck with awe. And those who try to contradict Shastra using illogical philosophical debate, they can never cheat anyone in the wake of your authority. Prabhupada was the greatest scholar of his time. He was second only to Jiva Goswami. After Prabhupada's disappearance, Param Gurudev, he organized one festival of separation for Prabhupada in Devananda Gaudiya Math, Navadvip. So there he invited all the different scholars. There was one scholar there who was the most famous, most reputed scholar. His name was Gopendu Shastri. He was like one of the greatest scholars Navadvip had ever produced. But he had opposed Prabhupada so much, this Gopendu Shastri. When Prabhupada was preaching, he opposed him so much. They would have so many debates. Like these two great scholars, they would be cutting each other's arguments in Sanskrit. Not even Bengali, they keep speaking to each other in Sanskrit. And Prabhupada, he would call this person Gumpendu. He would say, you're not even Gopendu. Gopendu means the moon of the Gopas. The moon of all the cowherd men of Braj. He would say, you're not even Gopendu. You're not befitting that name. You're Gumpendu, he said. Means you're like a cow, he said. You're only moving and moving. Or you only do this. So the same person, he was invited by Param Gurudev to this religious assembly in Navadvip. And he was made the chairperson, the Sabhapati. So then Param Gurudev's disciples were like, what is our Guru Maharaj doing? This person who opposed Prabhupada so much, he has made him the Sabhapati, the chairperson. So then when his chance came to speak, he started weeping so much. He said, in my entire life, I never realized how glorious this personality Prabhupada was. I am so unfortunate that I opposed him, he said. I'm so unfortunate. Now I'm realizing his glories. Now that he has left us, he has left this world, I'm realizing he's such a great personality. And then he looked at everyone in the assembly and he said, I'm falling at the feet of each and every one of you and asking for forgiveness. But then he said, even if I hadn't opposed Prabhupada in such a way, then I'm thinking preaching wouldn't have increased so much. So I'm thinking maybe I did the right thing also opposing him, he said. So then he begged for forgiveness from all the disciples and grand disciples of Prabhupada. So such great scholars were humbled by him. The Shuddha Bhakti Matta Jato Upadharma Kavalita Herya Lokera Manatras Hani Susiddhanta Ban Upadharma Khana Khan Sajjanera Bodale Ullas. When people saw that the conception of pure unalloyed devotional service had been troubled by these concocted religious systems that only resemble true religion, their minds became troubled by anxiety. But by assailing those false dogmas with your sharp arrows of conclusive truth, you have shattered them and have made the hearts of the devotees swell with delight. So that time in Bengal, there were so many people doing so many things in the name of following Mahaprabhu's Dharma. All kinds of bad things. So what did Prabhupada do? He came and he cut whatever things had polluted this line of Shuddha Bhakti. He removed all those things and he made that very pure. Like that time there was Gaur Nagari Vad. Gaur Nagari Vad means they would say that Mahaprabhu, he's a Nayak. He's a Nayak means he's also like Krishna. And we are also the beloveds of Mahaprabhu. So this was present during Prabhupada's time. Prabhupada said, don't think like this. Don't think of Mahaprabhu as a lover. And you don't think of yourself as a beloved of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu cannot be worshipped in Madhurya Bhav. He can only be worshipped in Dasya Bhav. Not in any other Bhav. Prabhupada said, don't think of him like a lover. Only think of him as your Prabhu, as your Lord. He can only be worshipped in Shanta or Dasya. And once you worship Mahaprabhu in Dasya, then what will happen? Ultimately, he will reveal himself to you as Radha and Krishna in Madhurya Bhav. Then you can serve them as their maidservant, Kinkari. So this way there was Gaur Nagarivad, there was Jati Goshai, there was so many different things, and he cut the arguments of all of them. Then said, Smartamotto Jaladhara Shuddha Bhakti Ravikara Achadilo Bhaviya Antare Shastra Sindhu Manate Susiddhanta Janjavate Udailo Digdigantare. When your thoughts about how the dark storm clouds of the Smarta doctrine had blocked the rays of the sun of pure devotional service began to weigh heavily within your heart, you churned the ocean of holy scripture and produced a great hurricane of perfect conclusive truth that scattered the dark clouds in all directions. So Smartavad means the system of orthodox Brahmanism had covered the sun of pure bhakti. No, the views of the Smartas were like dark clouds that had covered the sun of pure bhakti. And what did Prabhupada do? He was like that hurricane. He was like that strong wind that scattered all those clouds here and there. And he made the sun shine again. This whole story that we hear, how the Smartas attacked Prabhupada. What did they do? They threw all these glasses at him, these bottles at him, these stones at him. Why? Because he opposed the Smartas. Once some disciples of Prabhupada, they went to Benares, Kashi, and there they went to speak to the chancellor of the Benares University, like the dean, very reputed person. So this person, when he came to meet the disciples of Prabhupada, he said, are you those same people? Are you the disciples of that same personality who is giving Brahmin initiation even to Shudras, even to Chandalas? Are you the disciples of that same person? So this person was saying, how can you even give initiation to Chandalas and Sudras, people of low castes? So then these brahmacharis of Prabhupada, they started speaking such beautiful conclusions, logical arguments they presented. And they said, what does Krishna said in the Gita? Chaturvarnam maya system guna karma vibhagasha. That according to one's qualities, one should be known, not according to one's birth. According to the qualities he exhibits, as his life unfolds, like that he is known as a Brahmin, or a Kshatriya, or a Vaishya, or a Shudra. Not necessarily that a boy born in a doctor's family will also become a doctor. Unless and until he is given the proper education by his father, then he can become a doctor. Or else what qualities does he possibly have to call himself a doctor? Similarly, one may be born as a Trivedi, Chaturvedi, Dvivedi. Now, one may be born in a family of a Brahmin who knows the 4 Vedas, or the 3 Vedas, or the 2 Vedas. But we're saying that what is he doing? He's eating fish. He's drinking alcohol. He's doing all kinds of nonsense things. So does he really deserve this title of being a Trivedi or a Chaturvedi, Dvivedi, knowing 3 Vedas, 4 Vedas? Oh, absolutely not. So when these disciples put these arguments, and that person also was humble. So if the disciples of Prabhupada were so powerful, and what to speak of Prabhupada himself? So they said he was like that wind that scattered those dark clouds that covered the sun. Sthane sthane katomato sthapiyacha nishkapato Prema seva shikaite jive Matera Vaishnavagan Kore Sada Vitaran Hari Guna Kathamrita Bhave. You have established mutts in so many places in order to teach the living entities how to sincerely serve Krishna with pure love. And the devotees of your mattas are incessantly engaged in distributing the nectar of Sri Hari's divine qualities throughout the universe. So wherever the Gaudiya Math is, he is giving everyone an opportunity to do Hari Kirtan, to listen to Hari Katha. Like once one person asked Prabhupada, why are you giving saffron cloth to all these young people? To people who are in their late, who are still in their teenage years, in their 20s, they are giving saffron cloth to them. Is there any guarantee that they will remain these saffron brahmacharis for the rest of their lives? Is there any guarantee? One person asked Prabhupada, no, it's a very logical question. It's not an illogical question. He's saying, will they remain Naishtik brahmacharis their entire lives and you're giving them saffron cloth? Kashaya Vastra means what? Means I'm dedicating my life, the rest of my life to Krishna. So when Prabhupada said, you see, if you compare a person's life to 1 rupee, let's say a person's life is equivalent to a rupee. Normally, that entire rupee is vested in sense enjoyment. Means his entire life is vested in sense enjoyment. But if you can save 1 paisa or 2 paisa of that person's life, and you are rendering such invaluable help to him, means if you can make that person dedicate even a few days of his life to the service of Sri Hari, then you are actually rendering such a great help to him. Or else I am rendering a disservice to him if I am encouraging him to engage in sense gratification. So similarly, by giving all these brahmacharis saffron cloth and by engaging them in listening to Harikatha and by staying in the temple, I am giving them an opportunity to cultivate their life, to cultivate this Krishna Bhakti in their lives. And all those things that they have done in their previous lives, all those anarthas that they have collected in their previous lives, by just ringing the bell inside the temple. Now, during Arati, one just rings the bell. Then all those things that have happened in his life, they will be forgotten. And he'll get such good sanskars, such good impressions in his life, just by ringing the bell, just by clapping his hands during kirtan, just by showing some respect in the temple, by showing some sincerity, some appreciation, he'll get so much incalculable benefit. That is why I've established the mutt here, he said, to give these people this priceless opportunity. So, Shuddha Bhakti, Mandakini, Vimala Pravaha Ani, Shitala Korilo Tapta Pran, Deshe Deshe Nishkinchan, Prerilo Vaishnavagan, Vistarite Hari Gunagan. So by bringing the immaculate current of the Mandakini, of the Ganga of pure unalloyed devotional service in this world, you have soothed and pacified the burning life breaths of all the souls who reside here. You dispatched your Nishkinchan devotees to every nation to spread the sublime narrations of Sri Hari's transcendental qualities. Now, what did Bhagirath Maharaj do? Bhagirath, he brought the Ganga. But what did Prabhupada do? He brought the Ganga, the pure current of Krishna Bhakti, from Golok Vrindavan to this world. The Ganga that Bhagirath brought, it washes away all of one's sins. But the Ganga that Prabhupada brought, this light of pure Bhakti, what does it do? Not only does it wash away everyone's sins, this is only a secondary result. The primary result is that it bathes one in this Unnato Jalaras. It bathes one in this most highest conception of Krishna Bhakti. And this is the Ganga that he has got. And he has sent all his Nishkinchan devotees everywhere to propagate Krishna Bhakti. Because he would say his preachers are like the Jivanta Mridangas, the Brihat Mridangas. Means the sound of the Mridanga can only be heard in this temple. But when these Jivanta Mridangas, when these living Mridangas do Kirtan, then what happens? Their Kirtan is heard in every nook and corner of the world. It's heard everywhere. So Purve Chato Gaura Hari, Mayavada Cheda Kori, Vaishnava Korilo Kashivasi, Vaishnava Darshana Sukshma, Vichare Tumi He Taksha, Temati Toshilo Varanasi. Just as Gaurhari cut Mayavad to pieces and made all the residents of Kashi into devotees of Krishna, you have brought contentment to the city of Varanasi through your masterful insights into the principles of Vaishnava philosophy. Means you made all the Mayavadis appreciate the personality of Bhagavan. Because the Mayavadis, they don't accept that Bhagavan has a transcendental form. They say he is formless. Especially Kashi is like the epicenter, is like the hotbed of all the Mayavadis. All the Mayavadis, they like staying in Kashi. So what did Mahaprabhu do? He went to such a place like Kashi and he also made all the Mayavadis into Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada also, when he went to this place, by his Harikatha, by his Kirtan, he made all the Mayavadis into Vaishnavas. Like for example, he would say, you are saying that Bhagavan is Nirakar. Nir-akar means he has no form. But where does this word Nir-akar come from? It comes from Akar. Only if a personality has a form, can you then later deny his form. Only if you have seen his form, can you say that he is formless. So when in the Shastras it is said that Bhagavan is Nirakar, it means he has a transcendental form, not a material form. So why are you thinking that he is entirely formless? The Shastras have only forbidden one to think that he has a material form, but he has a transcendental form. When the Shastra says Nirgun, means he is devoid of material qualities, but he is full of transcendental qualities. So why are you saying he is Nirgun? Nirvishesh means he is devoid of mundane specialities, but he is full of transcendental specialities. So how can you speak like this? So this way Prabhupada by his Katha, he made all the Mayavadis also into Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Daiva Varnashrama Dharma, Hari Bhakti Jar Marma, Shastra Yukte Korilo Nishchay, Jnana Yoga Karma Chay, Mulya Tara Kichunai, Bhaktira Virodhi Jadi Hoy. In accordance with the Shastras, you have determined with certainty that the heart and soul of the Vedic system is devotion to Sri Hari. Means the very aim of Varna and Ashram is Hari Bhakti, not anything else. That is why he established Brahmachari. That is why he established Vanaprastha, Grihastha, and Sannyas. Why did Prabhupada give Sannyas? Why did he give Brahmachari Vesh? Why did he tell certain devotees to be householders, Grihasthas? Why? This is Daivi Varnashram Dharma. First follow Daivi Varnashram Dharma, become established in it, then you can hope to have Krishna Bhakti. No. So we have to speed up now. So, mystic power or the fruits of labor has no value if it is in any way opposed to Bhakti. So here he's saying that if even Varnashram Dharma is opposed to Bhakti, then it has no value. Shri Gauda Mandala Bhumi, Bhakta Sange Parikrami, Sukirti Stapilo Mahashay, Abhinna Brajamandala Gaudya Bhumi Premojjala, Prachara Hoilo Vishwamoy. O great soul, by circumambulating the land of Gaudamandal, bringing all the bhaktas with you on holy pilgrimage to the pastime places of Gauranga, you have established its exquisite glories. Thus you have made the entire world aware that Gaudamandal is non-different from Brajamandal. It is the same and it is brilliantly resplendent with divine love of Godhead. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gave this instruction to Prabhupada, that now you restart, you reinitiate this parikrama. No. Who started parikrama? Nityananda Prabhu himself started parikrama. When Jiva Goswami came to Mayapur, Nityananda Prabhu said, I came from Kardaha just to receive you. And Nityananda Prabhu, he took Jiva Goswami on parikrama to all the 9 islands of Navadvipa. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gave his son the same order, Prabhupada, that you also start this parikrama again. Take everyone on parikrama. Why? Because by going on parikrama, one is engaging in all the limbs of bhakti. Normally there are 5 limbs of bhakti which are very important. What are they? Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Murti Shraddha Sevan, then this Dhammas. Because if one is staying, doing parikrama, he is automatically in the Dham. So he is observing one limb of bhakti, Dhammas. He is in the association of sadhus, so he is doing Sadhu Sangha. He is engaged in Nam Kirtan, that is Nam Kirtan. And there's Bhagavad Shravan, he's always listening to the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sri Murti Shraddha Sevan. In the parikrama, in the 9 islands of Navadvip, wherever you go, there are deities of Radha and Krishna and Mahaprabhu. So everywhere he's offering pranams also. And he's worshipping the deities. So all the 5 limbs of devotion are carried out by observing parikrama. That's why Prabhupada, he started this parikrama again. Not just in Gaudamandal, but also in Brajamandal, Kshetramandal, everywhere. So this way he made everyone realize that Gaudamandal Bhumi is non-different from Brajamandal Bhumi. Kulyate Pashandira Atyachara Koilo Jar Tasabar Doshak Shama Kori Jagate Koilo Goshana Taroriva Shahishnuna Hana Kirtaniya Salahari. You have forgiven the offenses of the atheists who perpetrated great atrocities against you in Navadvip. The lesson you taught reverberates through the world. Be as tolerant as a tree and always chant Harinam. Now in Kulyada, what do they do? All these people, they wanted to kill Prabhupada. Normally we hear that there was only one Jagai and one Madai who attacked Nityananda. But here there were thousands of Jagais and Madais, not just 2. Thousands of Jagais and Madais who tried killing Prabhupada. But what did Prabhupada do? He forgave all of them. He forgave. And then he said, this is the ideal. That even if your greatest enemy comes to you, who has committed such horrible things to you, you forgive him. Don't have any hatred towards him. And in this way he's showing this move of being Trinadapi Sunich. Taroriva Shahishna. Shri Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha Madhye Patra Raja Upadi Bhushane Vibhushita Vishwera Mangala Lagi Hayyacha Sarvatyagi Vishwavasi Janahite Rata. Within the royal assembly of Vaishnavas throughout the universe, you are known as Patra Raja. You are the emperor among all worthy personalities. For the auspiciousness of the entire universe, you have renounced all forms of worldliness and you have devoted yourself to the welfare of all the residents of this material world. Means he accepted sannyas for the welfare of all the people of this world. He said, my life is for the welfare of mankind. It's for their upliftment. Kori teche upakar, jate paro upakar, lobe jiva Shri Krishna sevai, dure jaye bhavaro, kande jahe karma bhog, hari pad padme jate pai. You are engaged in welfare work so that the living entities will attain service to Krishna, which is the highest welfare. By this, their diseased state of mundane existence will be cured, the reactions to their fruitive work will be smashed to pieces, and they will attain the lotus feet of Sri Hari. No, so we just have like 5 more verses and we finish. Jiva mohe nidragata jagate vaikunta duta gaudiya pathao gare gare utore bhai artha samay nai Krishna bhaja baba uchai swai. To awaken the living entities from the sleep, you have sent the Gaudiya, the messenger from Vaikunta house to house. And you are telling everyone, get up brothers, please listen to me. Get up, there is no more time. Just worship Krishna now and chant his names. So the Gaudiya was a magazine that Prabhupada himself started. And what did he do? He sent the Gaudiya to all corners of Bengal, Assam, Manipur, and all over India. So this Gaudiya was like the Duta of Vaikunta, it was like the messenger of Vaikunta. And wherever the Gaudiya was received, they all became devotees. So this way he transformed every home into Vaikunta. Tumar Mukharvinda Vigalita Makaranda Sinchita Achyuta Gunagatha Shunile Judai Pran Tamamo Antardhan Dure Jai Hridayer Yatha. When a prayer eulogizing the divine qualities of Krishna emanates from your lotus lips and falls upon anyone's ears like a compassionate shower of nectar, it quenches the deepest thirst of their being, their delusion born of ignorance disappears, and the agony within their heart goes far away. So here he's saying that if anyone listens to you doing kirtan, then what happens? That kirtan is like a shower of nectar. And once they bathe themselves in that shower of nectar, whatever pain they're feeling, they're experiencing in their hearts, that pain is washed away completely with the nectar. It's washed away now. So Jani Yami Mahashoy Yasho Vancha Nahi Hoy Bindu Matra Tumara Antare Tava Guna Bina Dhari Mora Kanta Bina Dhari Avashesha Bhavaye Amari. Abhi 5 minutes pura karna. Oh great hearted soul, I know that in you there is not even the smallest drop of desire for fame. Your transcendental qualities play upon the chords of my voice like a musician playing the strings of his veena. So here he's saying that in you there is not even the smallest drop of desire for fame. No, Prabhupada already said. He said, Pratishta Shukare Vishtha. He said, Pratishta is like the stool of a hawk. Prabhupada never desired any Pratishta for his own. But still, we see Bhagavan himself desires that the glories of his devotees be known far and wide. No. So here he's saying that your transcendental qualities, they're playing upon the chords of my voice like a musician playing the strings of his veena. So saying that when a person plays on the veena, naturally a beautiful sound comes out. So similarly, your qualities are like those strings present in a veena. And as and when I'm singing more and more, the sweet sound is emanating everywhere of your glories. So Vaishnavera Gunagan Korile Jivera Tran Shuniyachi Sadhu Guru Mukhe Krishna Bhakti Samudoy Janama Safala Hoy Ei Bhava Sagara Tara Sukhe. I have heard from the sadhus and Sri Guru that by singing about the glorious qualities of Vaishnavas, one achieves pure bhakti. Krishna bhakti awakens within his heart. His life becomes successful and he crosses over the ocean of material existence. So this is easy to understand now. Glorify the Vaishnavas, you'll achieve pure bhakti. Te karane prayas jato bhamane rash gaganera chanda daribare adosha darashi tumi adama patitami nija gune shamavi amare. And so I'm trying to sing about your glories just like a dwarf trying to catch the moon in the sky. You know, the moon is high up there and the person is trying to catch it. It's like useless. So he's saying, my attempt to glorify you is like trying to reach out to the moon. But because you do not perceive faults, please forgive me out of your own great virtue. Because I am a fallen soul. No. Adarsha Darshi Prabhu Patita Uddhar. Eibar Narottame Karolo Nistar. Oh Vaishnav Thakur, you don't look for faults in anyone, so kindly don't forgive me. Shri Gauranga Parishad Thakur Bhaktivedanta Dina Hina Patitera Bandhu Koli Tamo Vinashite Anilena Avanite Toma Akalanka Purna Hindu. Bhaktivedanta Thakur, the eternal associate of Gauranga, is the greatest friend of the unfortunate souls of Kali. And in order to destroy the darkness of the age of Kali, he has brought you, who is like the shining full moon. What are the two greatest contributions of Bhaktivedanta Thakur to this world? He gave us the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he gave us Srila Prabhupada, who is like the spotless moon. Karo Kripa Vitarana, this is the last sloka. Karo Kripa Vitarana Prema Sudha Anukshana Matya Utuka Jivagan Harinama Sankirtane Nachuka Jagata Jane Vaishnava Tasera Niveda. Please distribute your mercy to all living entities. Make them drink the nectar of Prem again and again, and let them go completely mad in Krishna Prem. Make all the people of this world dance in Harinama Sankirtan. This is Vaishnava Das's humble entreaty. So see here, he is so generous. What is he saying at the end of his prayer? He's saying, Prabhupada, make everyone go mad in Krishna Prem. Make everyone dance in this ecstatic kirtan. And make everyone receive this shower of prayer. This is my earnest prayer at your lotus feet. So this prayer was written a century before. And to this day, this prayer is being sung everywhere. Glory to this prayer. So we'll stop here. And whenever we get the time, we should think about the deep purpose of this prayer and hope that we can realize the moods that he has expressed here and how he has expressed his devotion to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Daya Parikar Rind ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sankirtan Karivata Rind ki jai. Shri Guruji Maharaj ki jai. Nanda Koti Vaishnava Rind ki jai. Samvai Shri Gaur Rind ki jai. Hidayot Prema